You know how people say technology is making life easier? Well, I respectfully disagree. At least, that's how I felt one sunny Saturday when Google Maps decided to betray me in the most hilarious and inconvenient way possible. I had been invited to my cousin Ella's engagement party in a town called Maple Grove. I'd never been there before, but I was excited. There was promise of cake, music, and, most importantly, those little stuffed mushrooms Ella always orders for parties. I was ready. I even curled my hair. If you know me, you know that means it was a serious event. Now, because I have the navigational skills of a confused goldfish, I heavily rely on GPS. I plugged the address into Google Maps, buckled up, and started my little road trip in high spirits, humming along to a playlist I titled Road Trip Royalty. That title aged poorly. The beginning was smooth. The roads were clear, the sun was shining, and I was having deep conversations with myself about whether hummus counts as a full meal. But then, I noticed something odd. Google Maps told me to exit the highway and take a shortcut. The word shortcut always sounds suspicious when spoken by apps or characters in horror movies, but I thought, well, maybe it'll shave off 10 minutes? So, I followed the directions. I turned off the highway onto a road that looked adventurous. There were trees, lots of them, and no signs of civilization. I mean, it looked like the setting of every camping trip that ends with "and we were never seen again." Turn left, the app said confidently, like it had been there before and knew exactly what it was doing. I turned left onto what can only be described as a gravel road, the kind where each rock is personally offended that you're driving on it. My poor little sedan, Buttercup, yes, I named my car, started making noises like she was auditioning for a role in a monster truck rally. But I trusted Google Maps. Why? I don't know. Maybe I thought technology couldn't lie. That it had some sort of AI conscience. That it loved me. Spoiler alert, it didn't. A few minutes later, it instructed me to continue for 5 miles. 5 miles? On this trail that looked like it was designed for goats on a spiritual journey? Still, I carried on. Things got worse. About 2 miles in, I passed a cow. Not on a farm, just a cow. Alone. Standing in the middle of the path like she was the toll booth operator of this forbidden forest. I stopped the car. We stared at each other for what felt like hours. Then, in possibly the most judgmental move I've ever witnessed from livestock, she slowly turned around and walked away like, "You don't belong here, city girl." Should have listened. But no, I kept going, swerving past potholes big enough to house small families and ducking under branches that had clearly never met pruning shears. I finally reached a fork in the road. One side looked like it led to a swamp, the other looked like it led to a possible bear den. Google Maps, bless its chaotic little heart, said turn right. I turned right. About 500 feet in, Buttercup gave up. She stopped. She sighed, yes, I swear my car sighed, and the tire light came on. I had a flat. A flat. In the middle of nowhere. No signal. No humans. Just me, a flat tire, and what I swear was the distant sound of banjos. Now here's where things get educational. I had no idea how to change a tire. I opened the trunk, found the spare, looked at it like it had personally insulted my family, and sat down in the dirt. I considered crying. Instead, I opened a granola bar and started talking to myself again. "Okay, Jane," I said out loud, "what would Ella do?" Then I remembered Ella once called AAA because she locked herself out of her own car, with the keys in her hand. Not helpful. Eventually, after what felt like a full Netflix movie runtime, a friendly old man in a pickup truck appeared. I flagged him down, wildly waving my arms like a stranded inflatable tube person. "Google Maps?" he asked, before I could even explain. I nodded. He laughed. "Hard. You're the 3rd person this month. This here's private land. That app don't know its head from a hubcap." He helped me change the tire, told me how to actually get to Maple Grove, and sent me on my way, but not before offering me a jar of homemade pickles. I declined. Pickle trauma from age 9, don't ask. When I finally arrived at the party, everyone was already on their second round of cupcakes. Ella hugged me and said, we were about to send a search party. I told her everything. She laughed so hard she snorted. Then she handed me a plate of stuffed mushrooms and said, you're never in charge of directions again. I agreed. And so, dear reader, that is why I'll never trust Google Maps again. Not after nearly becoming a backwoods legend. Not after bonding with a judgmental cow. Not after developing a relationship with my spare tire deeper than most of my high school friendships. Now I triple-check addresses. I cross-reference with actual humans. I even printed a paper map once, and I haven't printed anything since 2012. Technology is great, sure. But next time Google Maps says turn left onto Forest Path of Doom, I'll just smile, shake my head, and whisper, not today, Satan. Not today.